we're gonna play ultimate damage. So yeah, ultimate damage. I'll be playing with Death Blow because I would be playing with Demi-Human, but I don't know if the extra Kabua artifact gives me more. So yeah, I don't know. If I had Kabua on the Demi-Human, I would play with that. But now we're being a little lazy. We're playing with Death Blow. Take out the pets. Skill add-ons. Boom boom. I guess I can take away the tent as well. And lastly, elixirs. Just the casual ones. Demi-Human. Okay. We're gonna be playing with a blue lootscroll. We don't have anything in the storage, right? No. So we're also gonna use Agris on bosses only. So we try to time that in a good way. So that is the setup. Oops. Let's see. So the thing I recommend here is like you wait a little bit. So you're like just waiting a little bit so they spawn, so they run into you as a group, and then you wanna like CC them like all together with some down knockdown. Yeah, so as long as they don't spawn like instantly, we're doing good. Okay, this is good. But there is definitely a point when it's like, if you can play it at the best of your capacity, and then you compare to yourself at what you can do on some other class that you tried out, that you also play at the best of your capacity, it is a very tremendous difference if you're making like 600 million more per hour. In these days, like 600, 700 million more per hour. That's a pretty big number. Oh, gonna be activating the Agris right there. If the game is crazy big, yeah, that's the difference, but it's the people that stress over monoculous numbers. Yeah, I mean, sometimes people will do that, yeah. Sometimes people just stress over the smallest numbers. But it's not really like a numbers kind of a thing, it's just like it's a me, I'm bad kind of a thing. So they just need something to justify the reason why they're doing, like, what they need a reason to justify something, that why they're doing bad, you know, like why are they bad? They need a reason for that, and what is easier than to complain on the tool that you're using, right? But yeah, for sure, like sometimes, many times it is actually the reason, but sometimes it's actually not. For example, I am playing the witch right now. The witch is supposed to be better than Succession Land in almost like all of the end game places. But because I can't play it too good, I get less. I get like a lot less compared to my Succession Land, because I know how to play the Succession Land like. It's also a reason why a lot of people get angry if you say that a class is like broken. A lot of people can get mad and angry about that, because they kinda see it as like, if you say that the class is bad, you're kinda implementing that they have no skill. You see? So like a lot of people can like see it in that way when you're like trash talking someone, for example. If you say that the class is broken or whatever, it's like they didn't do anything, or like they got something for free, or but yeah, I mean, many times, yeah, sure, they did actually get many things for free. I mean, that's how broken works. But yeah, they shouldn't really be mad about stuff like that. They know, like we know what we're playing, right? I think it's just silly to be mad about stuff, and you know, like I like to have conversations about it because I care about the game quality. But I wouldn't be too mad about it, like. And I'm not like never mad at the players to play something. It's just like I want PVE to do something about it. I want them to balance the game so it can be better quality. But I would never be like, you know, sacrificing my enjoyment to play something just to get like 500 more trash or whatever. That wouldn't happen. $700, 800 milli, 900 milli, definitely get the 200, 500 million gap. Yeah, I mean, and then it kind of depends on like if you're a new player or something, like you're trying to gear up, or it depends on so many factors. If you're gonna care about that, but most people just want to have it easy. Most people just want to have it easy. They want to play the easy class that gets the most, and that's you know, that's That's what most people are looking for. But it's up to PA to make it so it gets balanced, right? You wanted to ask yourself how truly far off the gap is between Succession Line and Witch, or other gaps like Guardian, etc. I think the gap is closer than people want to admit. Yeah, it is. It is closer than what most people want to admit. Some people still say that Succession Line is like way better. Some people say that Awakening Witch is way better. Some people say that there is like a very small difference. Me personally, I would lean to a small difference in favor to the Witch. But you have to know how to play it, right? You can't be like you know how to play one class as a pro, and then you try the other class and you tried it for like a few days, and it's like you can't do that. You have to be fair. But for example, I play my LAN for 5 years, and I play Witch for 5 days. That's actually true. I played a Witch for 5 days. I play my LAN for 5 years. Of course, it's gonna be pretty tricky to get LAN numbers, unless there is like a real like super big difference. Oh yeah, sad. Like there is no super big difference. Can't always go off on Quenya Lua numbers. No. Yeah, no. They can compare with themselves. But they also have to have that in mind, that maybe they don't master the class, and maybe like the class that they play all the time, that's the class that is always gonna have like very high numbers. But I think that they already know that. Usually like if you want to research things, you have to take that into account. Like it's pretty logical. Just wanted to stop by and say thanks for your hard work. You're a new player. Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you for dropping by. That really makes me happy. Thank you. I try my best to give you guys what you deserve. Yeah, I mean we could make a spreadsheet about the things that matters in PVE, and like why why people freak out, why they're always chasing the meta and stuff like that. But it's just the logical things, like people want to play the easy, the most efficient classes. But then it also depends on how you play something. Like a lot of times it's not only the class, it's also like the grind spot, knowledge about the game and knowledge about like skill cancels, and it's all of these like different things, right? It was the thing, like I've been saying that for a few days. I've been trying to learn the proper pull in the crypt, because playing this class is like way different from playing LAN, for example. So I need to learn how to pull AoE, like so yeah, once I've learned how to pull with the AoE, that's when I'm gonna get the bigger numbers on this class. I wonder what the average player list would look like for all of the classes. I actually think that it would be very similar to endgame. Because if you're an average, then you're probably not capping out, right? And if you're not capping out, you take advantage of the things that makes like the broken classes broken. Which is, like skill passives, for example, like you get like 20 AP or something. big AoEs like fast mobilities or. So I think it's gonna be pretty similar. It's just that some of the classes might not be that good for like higher mobility grind spots. So like in grind spots where you have to move a lot, like you're gonna have slower classes being penalized by that, but I think it's pretty similar. So like if, for example, a witch awakening, grinding, maybe even orc, because like if you can't cap out, you're still gonna like kill them slower, right? But I still believe that you're gonna do way more damage than like a Kuno or like a warrior even. And it has to do with like the things that makes it strong, right? Like the skill damages, the AoEs, like. But maybe a class like Awakening Nova, maybe it could suffer a little bit. Because maybe the Awakening Nova is like way better if you can cap out. And then you take the speed factor. The speed factor is like the reason why it's so good, right? So maybe a class like Awakening Nova could suffer a little bit. If you can't cap out. But yeah, I don't know. Does Megu still have the biggest AoEs? I don't know. I don't know. It's been a long time since I played Megu. I played it on season when it got released. So yeah, that was a long time ago. How did it feel on season? I mean, back then when they released the class, it was very strong, broken. So it felt really good on season. But ever since they have nerfed the class, you know, that's why they made the apology video and all of that good stuff. So I don't know how good it is right now. Seemingly the Megu is a lot better than what a lot of people say that it is. And that's because we can get numbers from people that can actually play the class. So yeah, in certain places there is some people that actually knows how to play the classes, and they can do some pretty good grind. But you know, ever since they nerfed the class, there's been so many people that talked bad about it, like, oh, it's not good anymore, like you can't do anything anymore, like. But yeah, that seemed to be not true. Oh no. Oh, a Debo, really? Okay, I'll take that. I'll take the Debo. Don't say anything. Don't say anything to Yami, eh? You only heard Quenya say is still an A-tier group of classes. Session Megu. Yeah, I mean it could be. It could be. Because there are so many classes that do kind of crazy stuff. It would be kind of weird to put everyone on like S tier. You kind of like the more classes that can reach a higher tier, you have to be more. You have to have more restrictions. Like you have to be a little bit more controlling with the numbers. But yeah, I mean, Quenya also say that Awakening Lan is very good. So I don't. maybe he meant if he meant by playing the game, like yeah, sure. But that is like that goes for like most of the classes in the game, to be honest. Yeah, Awakening Lan should also be like on A tier. So somewhere along like A tier. Even if you were to put like if you were to play Awakening Lan as a new player, like going and play Orc or something, or like it's still gonna be like A tier. The reason why so many people put higher numbers on like the easier grind is because they valued it with the gear that they have, which is that they are already like capping out. So that's why a lot of people put like very high numbers on like how good would Awakening Lan be at Orc, for example. Like a lot of people put like very high numbers on that because they put like their overcapping gear on it, you know. Like of course it's gonna be good. Of course it's gonna be good. It's the same thing in Gaifen, like you're capping out in Gaifen, and most of the classes they get 38,000. That's just like you're capping out. I think everyone besides LAN players think Awakening Lan is crazy good. Yeah, but it's because they don't play the class. A lot of people are stuck in the early like 2019 when it was actually good. So they still believe that it's the same, and it's just weird. People believing what they wanna believe. But it's like if you show them numbers or something like that, or like they don't listen, they don't see that, they don't really care. They just want to say that it's broken, or like they just want to say that it's good, or like way better than what it is. And I can accept that. I can accept to a certain degree that like if you don't know how to play the Awakening Lan, like if you play it in a casual way, you're gonna get way less. Yeah, sure, I can accept that, because Awakening Lan is actually a class that you have to, if you want to get the higher numbers, do a little bit extra, like. Yeah, and we all know what it means to do a little bit extra. You get a little bit more, right? I think everyone does that. They judge the classes with their hard cap gear on easy spots. Yeah, I mean, so when I was putting down numbers for it, I did that as well, because that was my interpretation of the question. And I kind of also like try to figure out like everyone else is gonna think that way too. So if I go against the narrative, it would look very weird when it came to like my numbers. You know, it would have had like 3 points less than what it got, you know. So I had to make my own little interpretation what other people, you know, interpreted on the question. And that is what most people interpret, like they're gonna put their own gear. Class masters, they play the game for a long time. They're gonna put their own gear and, you know. But yeah, it kind of gives a little bit of skewed look, because on some other classes, maybe they didn't do that, you know. Maybe they didn't do it that way, and it's gonna look way different. But I gave my feedback, so hopefully like next time we can have a more accurate like understanding when it comes to the questions. Otherwise, I still think it's very good. I still think it's very good to have like the information out there, even if it is a little bit crooked. Oops. I think when people ask how a class does a mid-game, they expect you to say how the class would be mid-game gear. Specifically gear they actually have. Yeah, so they have to be specific about that, otherwise they're gonna get two very different answers. If someone asks like how good is it, blah 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 blah, they're gonna have to be more specific if they want to get a more accurate answer, because otherwise it's up to interpretation from the streamer, for example, how the streamer is interpreting that question. So yeah, just like a lot of questions, they have to be asked better sometimes if you want to get a better answer. Or a more accurate answer, rather. Yeah. Especially if you ask a bigger streamer, because they don't have 5 minutes to talk about the stuff, right? I can talk about stuff, which is usually like, you know, I would usually go a little bit more into the subject whenever we talk about stuff like this, because I have time to do that. We don't have too many people watching, like. But it's a little bit different for bigger streamers. They don't have time to like to go into the specifics. Another debo? No tongue red. Okay, we got baited. Yeah, I'm gonna try to record on the succession land too in the crypt, and I'm gonna try to do like a different pool. and also like different rotation. Not like a different. I'm gonna do it counterclockwise. No, I'm gonna do it clockwise instead of counterclockwise. So we see how good that is in comparison to how I usually play it. I kind of feel like it's a lot better. So I kind of expect the numbers to be a little bit higher, to be honest. So that'd be interesting to see what I can do in the crypt with the succession land nowadays. Oh my god, why am I doing it so fast? I lost my flow a little bit, but it should be good. So I guess as long as they don't spawn instantly, we're killing them faster than the spawn time. So that's what we want to do to like cap out over here. The only way to get a little bit more trash would be to kill like every single monster, every single pack. So you know, like sometimes there can be like 1 or 2 left, but la 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 la, sha 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 la la la. Did you die? No, I haven't died yet, Axionis, no. And I'm not planning on dying either. I'm gonna play a little bit better today. Sadly, no, we lost 8 billion. We lost 8 billion in 2 days. So no Sag. I mean big Sag, but yeah, no, we can't die anymore. If I die, I quit. I quit playing this game. If I lose 1 more crystal, I quit. I will quit, Jay. Do you hear me? We buffed Troll, test it. Yeah, we can do that. I know they buffed a lot of places. They buffed Hex, they buffed Troll, they buffed, you know. And we are gonna do a bunch of testing here. So both on the witch and both on the LAN. But we're gonna start out with the witch here. So be witching. And after we done history grind, we go into the LAN and we do crypt. And after the crypt, we could go and try like, yeah, we can try some hex maybe. I was never a big fan of Quint, but yeah, we can try that too. You made 1.3 billion first time. Agris on bus only. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. But still take into consideration that if you were to grind for debos, you probably get like 3 to 4 or 5 billion. So you know, the debo grind is still kind of broken, messed up. I even got a debo in this place. So, you know, crazy stonks. Hello, Cooped. How you doing, buddy? Two hours in Aakman, you got 2 debos? Nice. Yeah, I got I don't think it would be that good, to be honest, if they did make it better. Like if they made Aakman better, I think that would be pretty bad. I think that history could be on par with Aakman, that would be okay. But I don't think that it's necessarily that good if they made it better, because to be real honest, it is already very, very big money per hour. People just don't know about, I mean some people don't know about how good money it is. But yeah, and especially for what you're doing, right? You hit the 309 bracket with your necklace and a belt, but 307 bracket with a weapon. Yeah, so how many bonus AP do you get from that in comparison? And then you have to, like, how much monster AP are you losing in comparison? So that's like 2 AP on sheet, and then plus the bonus bracket, which is probably like 9 or something, right? So that's like 11 AP. But how much monster AP are you losing? Is it less than 11? Because if it's less than 11, the necklace is gonna be better. If it's more than 11, yeah. I don't know exactly if it's like 9 monster AP if you hit the 309, but I think you should get the drift. Maybe it's like 13 or something. Okay, we're getting some luck here. So that's nice. It's only 5 AP. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I would say that the weapon should be better at that point. Yeah. So there we go. The weapon should be better. I just wanted a pen black star bad, but also want to get rid of the pen capocha, so it was a hard choice. Yeah, that's understandable. You are gonna get rid of that capocha sooner than later. Yeah, no stress. Yeah, getting the pen black star is a huge upgrade. Yeah. No stress. You get rid of that. I'm still waiting to replace my crescent ring, and I've been waiting for that replacement for a little more than a year. But we usually have other things coming in the way of that. So sometimes I believe we're gonna have that forever. At least up until we get the Debo ring, if we ever get the Debo ring. Hello, goddess. How's it going, goddess? Yeah, I assume the Debo rings are gonna come too. It's just a matter of time. You doing good? Nice. I am still a little bit sick, but I think it's getting better. Or maybe that's the oatmeal talking. I don't know. But yeah, like always, the mornings are always a little bit better. So yeah, we're doing a little bit of recording here. So we're gonna do recording over here and recording at history. And then we're gonna do recording in the crypt. And then maybe we head over to Kelfie and Elvia and do some recording over there too. So it's a recording day today. And Roast, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. I feel like this is going good. You can do it slightly faster, but not really that much faster. Ooh-wee. We got a debo before too, so that was pretty nice. Hope I can spawn one more boss, that would be nice. Oh, there it is. Nice. Good timing. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Wait, what? There is no way. There is no way we get 2 debos in an hour. Oh my god. Carried. Wait, I should be grinding here like all the time. Well, what is this? We have 20 seconds left. So yeah, maybe like two free pulls. And no, so one more pull. Ah, that's good. Okay, so how many trash did we make? We made 18,191.